The very latest in sexual assault cases is the one against T.I. and Tiny. They allegedly had a wild night with an unnamed individual, and they're now being sued in California with 6 different complaints against them, including sexual assault, battery, and false imprisonment. So what on earth did T.I. and Tiny allegedly do? Sit back and get cozy, because you know I've got all the deets and the tea. We're 4 days into the new year, and there's already too much tea to cover all at once. The first thing we're going to get into is this sexual assault lawsuit against T.I. and Tiny Harris. Rapper T.I. and his wife Tiny have been sued by a Jane Doe for a litany of complaints for damages. They're getting hit with sexual battery and sexual assault, regular battery, negligence, false imprisonment, and intentional infliction of emotional duress. Jane Doe says that she was in the Air Force and stationed in Los Angeles back in 2005 when she was around 22 or 23 years old. It's important to note that T.I. was really popular at that time. She even noted in the lawsuit that defendants T.I. and Tiny have an infamous reputation for drugging, kidnapping, falsely imprisoning, raping, and assaulting women and forcing them to engage in sexual acts with the couple for their own sexual gratification. She also says defendants T.I. and Tiny have also been known to threaten individuals with violence, even having brandished a gun to a former employee who also experiences sexual assault by the couple. And that's no cap, but we'll discuss that reputation later. She and a friend went to Coolio's party at his crib. A guy who allegedly worked for T.I. and Tiny, who goes by the name Caviar, was introduced to the two, and he told them that even though T.I. and Tiny weren't at Coolio's party, he told them about a nightclub they'd be attending the next night. They all met up in the VIP area of the club. The woman says she was 2 amaretto sours deep whenever Tiny handed her a drink. It's important to note that Tiny allegedly never drank from this drink, but that Jane Doe did share the drink with her friend. At some point, T.I. decided to leave, and he suggested that Jane Doe ride with him and Tiny, and that her friend ride with Caviar, and said that they were all headed to the same location. Then, stuff got weird, according to Jane Doe. She says that 2 more women piled into the car with her, T.I. and Tiny, and then they eventually made their way to a hotel room. But eventually, Tiny told the other 2 women to kick rocks because they were just being a little too flirty with her man. After the 2 women left, she was left alone with T.I. and Tiny. She says that Tiny took off her clothes, then her own. Then they both got into the shower with a naked T.I. After the weird shower, Jane says she started feeling really dizzy and lightheaded, and T.I. ordered her to go lay down on the bed. He started watching porn, and he gave her some massage oil and ordered her to give him a massage. At some point, while that was happening, Tiny allegedly got on top of her, pinned her down, and started rubbing her body all over Jane. And then, Jane says that T.I. penetrated her with his toe. Not T.I. and his nasty big toe, it's giving me the ick personally. She said that she said no and started pushing him away. The lawsuit says that he said he was gonna go get a condom and got up, but Jane got up herself and went to vomit. She says that T.I. started making fun of her for being sick, saying, "Are you alright? Looks like you in last place." It wasn't long after that Jane says she passed out and didn't wake up until the next morning. A security guard actually woke her up and told her she had to leave and then escorted her out. T.I. and Tiny were still in the bed, asleep, and she says her vagina was in serious pain. Why is she able to sue after such a long period of time? Well, that's thanks to California's Sexual Abuse and Cover-Up Accountability Act, which provides victims with an additional 1-year window outside the statute of limitations to make claims. This act specifies that the assault was required to take place before or on January 1st, 2009. And since this allegedly happened in 2005, it definitely counts as before 2009. T.I. and Tiny's lawyer has said not only are the claims bogus, but they missed the deadline to file the lawsuit. But even without the dates involved, there's an additional provision in the Sexual Abuse and Cover-Up Accountability Act that says she can sue if the assault happened on or after her 18th birthday and the parties or their agents took part in a cover-up. So if everything in the alleged suit took place, it counts regardless of the dates. They later came out with this statement: "On the heels of positivity, negativity always rears its ugly head. This plaintiff has been threatening to file this lawsuit for 3 years. For 3 years, we've emphatically and categorically denied these allegations. For 3 years, we've maintained our innocence and refused to pay these extortionate demands for things we didn't do. For 3 years, we've maintained the same position while the claims in this story have changed time and time again. Our position is clear. We're innocent of these fake claims, we will not be shaken down, and we look forward to our day in court." Now, this isn't the first time that T.I. and Tiny have had allegations come up against them. The most recent one was in 2021 when their former friend Sabrina Peterson said that she got in an argument with T.I.'s assistant, and then she alleged that he pulled a gun on her and threatened, "I'll kill you." She says that T.I.'s assistant treated Tiny like a slave, and that's why the argument broke out. But Tiny was having none of Sabrina talking shit about T.I. She found this picture of T.I. with Sabrina's sons and posted it, saying, "Hold up, so you want your abuser to train your sons? He was just uncle 2 years ago. Now when did you say my husband assaulted you? Did you change your mind or change it back? What's up with you today, Pooh? I'm confused. Stop harassing my family. You strange. Everybody know you've been special, face-slicing seminar lady. Please get help, but leave us alone." In a seriously Hollywood-level, unprecedented WTF incident, Sabrina filed a defamation lawsuit against T.I. and Tiny for denying her allegations. Not very surprisingly, she lost. She was ordered to compensate them for legal fees and pay them within 90 days. As you can see, she got online and let people know that the initial $100K amount was inaccurate. She said, "Unfortunately, everyone doesn't know how the legal system works. So for the people that have an elementary law degree, this isn't a win for them. Our actual trial date will be set December 11th, and that's when my damages are calculated." But to be honest, as much as it doesn't make sense for Sabrina to sue them for defamation, it kinda does too. Check out this quote from their lawyer about her. "She's an adjudged liar, a convicted felon with a lengthy rap sheet for crimes involving dishonesty and violent assault. She has a reputation for being unscrupulous." That sounds really damaging to someone's reputation, but T.I. argued that they weren't intended to be defaming, but rather a matter of opinion. But that's one damning opinion. This actually isn't the first time that Jane Doe attempted to sue the couple. Back in 2021, not only did she file the same suit, her lawyer at the time, Tyrone A. Blackburn, sent letters including accounts from 11 other victims to the state and federal prosecutors. They all had stories that were really similar to hers. Blackburn described them as eerily similar events of sexual abuse, forced ingestion of illegal narcotics, kidnapping, terroristic threats, and false imprisonment. One of the women said that she was a 17-year-old intern for the couple at the time during the summer of 2006, and they offered both alcohol and pills to her. Blackburn's letter describing her tale say that she passed out in a bedroom, only to wake up the next morning both bleeding from her vagina and having discomfort in her anus, before one of Tiny's associates gave her a morning after pill. Another victim was a former friend of Tiny's, and she said T.I. forced her to take illicit drugs, and that she has personally witnessed women complaining of being kidnapped and held against their will for days at a time. Other victims' accounts in the letters included stories about violent threats, gangs, and sexual assault by T.I., Tiny, and their associates. That might all sound like sketchy information, but the New York Times investigated the accounts and confirmed 5 of the accounts by interviewing victims and witnesses. Why didn't T.I. and Tiny face charges the first time the lawsuit was filed? It fell outside the statute of limitations. For now, we'll just have to see what happens with this latest lawsuit. But here's what people around the internet are saying about the suit and allegations. Time's up, waiting for all the skeletons to fall out on all these folks. With all the allegations that have been against them, where there's smoke, there's fire. Itching and burning? Did T.I. have foot fungus? Honestly, I can't even imagine having athlete's crotch due to some dude's nasty toe. But now I want to hear what you think about all of this in the comments, and I'll catch you in the next video.